Hey guys, welcome to the all new Gakota YouTube channel and with our first ever video. For all of you who don't know, I'm Ben, Head of Product Development, and so basically I design the watches, handle some photography for the Gakota social medias and different things like that. So today, we thought we'd start a new YouTube channel, especially for Gakota watches. You may have seen us before on the WatchGecko channel. So with the kind of expansion of the watches section of the business, we wanted to make more focused videos on the watches so we can really explain the details and explain what we're about and why we make these watches. Here today, I've got a selection of 3 watches that I think have some really good talking points. They're all quite new, with one of them even being unreleased. And they all have certain design elements and kind of like concepts behind them, which I think really bring forth or like show our values in quite a good way. So first up, we have the all new E1 Generation 2. So even just in the name, I think kind of tells you what we're about in the Generation 2 part. So for what we do and for the models we release, we always provide things in really small numbers, quite limited runs. We always believe that there's area for improvement. So with this specific model is the Generation 2 of the E1. Doesn't necessarily mean that the Generation 1 has been discontinued. Some watches we've done that, such as the C1, but in this one, we've taken feedback and looked at the potential of the case and different things like that to provide kind of an alternate version of the E1, where this one is a lot more vintage styled with the faux patina and the vintage like etched style bezel, the grain, the dual layer, all things like that, and like the Arabic numerals on the 369, which are all things that are quite characteristic of like 60s skin divers and different things, and especially with the military inspired stamping on the background. You know, with this watch we really wanted to evoke that kind of period lost in time and really bring something forward for those lovers of vintage watches that, you know, want to wear something more reliable on a daily basis. We can show pictures of the other E1 and you can see the comparison of, you know, it's kind of like modern sports watch with a retro hint, and it's just kind of under our space age design language as well, taking inspiration from the retro like space age American era to this one, where it's, you know, you can clearly see the evolution and the steps that we've taken to make this quite a different release. And then secondly, one of our new racing watch releases, which is the Gakota C4. So with this one, I think it's a good example of our experimentation in specification. So at the moment, everyone seems to love a ceramic bezel. So instead of just doing a ceramic insert, we thought we'll go all in, do the full ceramic bezel, but we still wanted to hit it at an affordable price point that our customers are used to. And so we mixed this with a acrylic crystal as opposed to a sapphire. And there were a few reasons for this. One being price. It allowed the watch to be kept down quite low. The way that the acrylic is molded, it allowed us to have a much more customized dome shape, which is characteristic of vintage watches, that if we had a sapphire crystal, it would have been absolutely astronomically expensive in comparison. The benefit of having that dome, one, obviously it looks cool, the vintage style, but then also with this being a chronograph, it allowed us to wrap the crystal around the hands, which took up some of the thickness of the case, which would have kind of resided in the bezel, which means that the watch has a much slimmer profile than what it might have had we used a flat sapphire crystal. And so through things like that, which we're really trying to experiment with the specification as well as the design, bring something quite unique through the experimentation of the like multi-layer dial and the colors as well. So this fits in our racing range, which is another thing that we are quite passionate about. You know, we know and we love the connection between cars and watches and mechanical things. And so that we have this racing inspired range, which this sits within. And then going further into the racing range, we have the C3. So this C3 was a limited edition of 27 pieces. The sunburst dial, which is unique in the range at the moment. We've only got gloss dials and then a stamped like Coste de Genève silver dial. So this is another example of us embedding ourselves into the motorsport scene and something that we're working on quite a lot more, especially in future releases, which you haven't seen yet, is solidifying that connection between us and motorsports as a genuine connection and as genuine lovers of, you know, motorsport things, of cars, and to create something that's genuinely exciting, such as through this watch. The owners of this watch will know that it's, you know, only one of 27, and it kind of marks a period in Gakota history as well as Scott McKenna's history as a young racing driver. When this watch was released, he was only 17. So, you know, it marks a good point. We're very passionate watch guys. We're not just, you know, in here to sell those watches and make money. That's not necessarily what it's about. Of course, a business, but at the heart of it, we are watch guys. We also love sport cars and all those things, and just want to create a genuinely satisfying user experience. Let us know what you thought of this content. Maybe let us know what else you'd like to see. And of course, you know, follow our social and different things like that.